Thank you and enjoy a great session. Jackie, it is all up to you.
Hey, Virginia, good morning. Good morning, everyone that's joining us today. I had a ball with you guys 2 weeks ago. I knew I threw a lot of information at you, and we could tell by all the questions. I think, Virginia, we had over 100 questions, which was great. Yes. It was great. There was a lot of confusion and a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of misinformation. So the purpose was to clarify all of that, to get your questions answered. So today, we're going to just kind of review all of that. We're going to go over some of the latest information, and we're going to do lots of questions. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
And Jackie, let me know how you want me to respond to the questions in the chat. I can let you complete your presentation because we are actually going to have a question and answer 30 minutes to an hour if necessary. So I think that maybe completing your presentation and then taking on questions may help to get through a number of questions that may be asked. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect plan, Virginia, because last time we did hit just about every question in the presentation. So we'll probably do that again today, but we know everybody has like specific situations or snags that might be unique and not in the presentation. So we'll get through everything. Probably we'll knock out most of the questions, but because we have tons of time today where we're going to just do nothing but Q&A, we'll go ahead and wait until then. So sounds
excellent.
Good. Okay, great. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So just as a disclaimer, everything we're talking about today is for information and educational purposes only. So I'm not giving any specific advice or anything like that, but I want to get you going with this public service loan forgiveness so that you can take advantage of the waiver and all of the other benefits that are out there for forgiveness. So here's our agenda today. First of all, I'm going to go over the latest on the one-time cancellation. That's that announcement that was done about 2 weeks ago, literally like days before we had our workshop. We're going to cover reviewing the PSLF program basics. We'll review that again because that's so important because a lot of you guys, even after the waiver, you'll be continuing with that. We're going to do a summary of the waiver. And then I'll give you lots of resources and next steps. Like, what do you do after this session today? And then lastly, we'll do questions, and more questions. Okay, that's going to be a big part of today's workshop. So I just want to remind everybody how amazing of a time it is when it comes to student loan forgiveness and debt relief. We've got like 3 main things going on. The first thing is that we've been in this payment pause. We've had 0%, no payments for 33 months. So from April 2020 to December 2022, 33 months. And then coupled with that is the one-time debt relief that was just announced. The $20,000 if you got a Pell Grant and $10,000 for all others with a government student loan. And then lastly, the triple threat is credit, this PSLF waiver that's going to give you credit for payments that you normally would not have gotten credit for. So this is a very powerful combination of loan forgiveness that is going to help you hopefully get rid of your debt once and for all, or at least get you on the path to doing that. So that big announcement that was on August 24th was the student loan cancellation lump sum announcement for anyone that has a government student loan. So we covered this briefly last time, but let me just give you a reminder on that. There's 3 parts to it, okay? The student loan payment pause got extended until December. We kind of expected that. Then we've got the one-time student loan debt cancellation. Again, $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients, $10,000 for all other government loans. And then the income-based, now there's still more information coming out on this, but normally those income-based repayment plans are somewhere around 10% of your discretionary income. They're lowering that to just 5%. And again, we're waiting for more details on that. Now, what I'm going to go into a little bit more is this one-time debt cancellation. We do have a little bit more information on that, and I wanted to bring you guys the latest. So here's what it is. It's up to $20,000 for Pell Grants, up to 10,000 for all others. One clarification on this, I have up to, because if you owe less than the 10,000 or 20,000, they're not going to give you a refund. Let's say if you owe $8,000, they're not going to give you, a $2,000 back. It's up to whatever up to these amounts, but they will not give you more than what you owe. So just keep that in mind. Then there are income limits. Okay, what they're going to do to determine your income is that they're going to look at your 2020 or 2021 income. More than likely, that's going to be your AGI, your adjusted gross income, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But just know that they're not counting 2022. It's going to be the last 2 years, 2020, 2021. If you're a single filer, the limit for that is 125,000. And for a married couple is double that, 250,000. So let's do a little more clarification on this one-time cancellation. So these are for government loans only. So if you have a private loan, like with SoFi or Bank of America or any private bank or credit union, you are not eligible for the cancellation. So if you have a private loan, it does not apply for this one-time cancellation. Then your loans must have been dispersed before June of this year. So if you get new loans now, that's not going to be forgiven. It had to be dispersed by June 30th. Then the forgiveness is per person and not per loan. And the reason why that's important is because most people have multiple loans. And let's say, for instance, if you have a Parent Plus loan and you have a regular direct loan for yourself, okay, you're not going to get 10 grand for one loan, 10 grand from the other. It's per person. So I'm assuming they're going to look at Social Security number or something like that. And one Social Security number can get one forgiveness. They're not going to give you 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand for each loan that you have. So one person, one forgiveness payment. And then we've got, there's 8 million borrowers, they say, where they already have your information. It's through, maybe you were on an income-driven repayment plan. So they would have your income from that. If you, got like a grant or something like that, the Department of Education may already have your information. In that case, they are saying that the forgiveness will be automatic. But everyone else, you will have to fill out an application that they said will be available at the beginning of October. So look for that. I do have like an alert set up where I'll get notified that will say, okay, now the form is available that you can fill out if you didn't automatically get your loan forgiven. I know for me, they don't have my income information. So more than likely, I'm going to have to fill out the application. So those are sort of the latest or the updates that they made around the one-time cancellation. Now, another big question is what types of loans? Well, this is very, very good news as well, because almost every kind of government loan. So let me just hit you with these. So we've got, of course, undergraduate and graduate direct loans, Parent Plus loans, Grad Plus loans, consolidated loans. A lot of, with PSLF, you guys are getting loans consolidated. The FFEL loans that's held by the Department of Education. Perkins loans that's held by the Department of Education. This is a big one here, any defaulted loans, because defaulted loans, they get in that status when we are struggling and having a hard time paying those loan payments. And it could get very discouraging. And a lot of the programs, they exclude people that are in default. Well, this cancellation, it includes defaulted loans. So that is very good news. So if you have a loan in default, it's not the end of the world. And that is a part of this forgiveness as well. So now I get the question a lot about different loan servicers. So I just wanted to provide a detailed list here. You can go to the studentaid.gov website and they have it as well, but it's the phone number for all of them. And when you get the presentation, these are live links where you can actually link to them. Now, the main ones I want you to know about as far as public service loan forgiveness, MOHELA and Aidvantage. Okay, MOHELA is the official loan servicer for student loan forgiveness. So if your loan is not with MOHELA, that's worth checking to see if you are on the program or if you've submitted one of those PSLF forms. Advantage, you only see that in terms of getting your loans consolidated. They are the processor for loan consolidations. Okay, so these are the two that will matter to you. If you have any of the other loans, that may be a first indicator that they're not showing that you are going for forgiveness. But once you do one of those forms, you should be able to get on the public service loan forgiveness. If you have one of these other providers, it's probably worth calling them and saying, hey, I'm going for loan forgiveness. I understand that MOHELA is a servicer. What do I need to do? And also, if you go to the studentaid.gov website, they may give you direction as well. But these are the main two. Again, helping all my people out that's in default, there is a program called Fresh Start, where they're going to help you get out of default. And there's more information coming out, but just know that they have a special program that they are doing geared towards people that are in default. Okay, so the one-time cancellation and public service loan forgiveness. So this was one of the questions that came up in the last session. So I just wanted to give some direction on that. So you might ask yourself, oh, well, if the $10,000 or $20,000 covers my entire loan, why do I even need to bother with PSLF? Well, the truth of the matter is you might not need to. So here are just some tips on that. So if the one-time cancellation wipes out the entire balance of all of your government loans, then the public service loan forgiveness may not matter. But just make sure that you're looking at all of your loans and make sure that they all qualify for this one-time cancellation. You saw the list of the different loans, pretty much every federal loan. And if you're in doubt, take advantage of the waiver, because that's a one-time thing and that's not coming back again. They may end up extending it for a few months, but this waiver is like unheard of, okay? And then the last thing here is if one-time cancellation does not eliminate all of your loans, that's where it's kind of like a handoff. So you get the forgiveness for the lump sum, and then you continue with the public service loan forgiveness after that. So for a lot of people, the one-time cancellation is not going to take care of all of their loans. So they would continue with public service loan forgiveness. And that's where we're going here. So just a reminder, like I did last time, the whole spirit of the public service loan forgiveness was a really good one, okay? It was to encourage and reward individuals to pursue public service careers. You guys are giving back to our communities. You are helping the world for greater good. And then the second one was, it was to lighten the federal student loan burden for full-time professionals working for government employers. So if no one told you today, this week, this month, this year, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for the service that you are providing. It's valuable, and this program is here to reward you. And I want to make sure that you're taking advantage of it and getting the credit that you deserve. So the basis of the PSLF, as simple as it is, you guys, in the beginning, there's a lot of trouble. So always like to remind people of, it's a pretty simple program. So the big thing at the end, whenever you're done and you get that big lump sum forgiven, remember that's not tax. So that there's a benefit right there, right? So you got to work for a full-time for a qualifying employer. You already are. Fulton County is a qualified employer. You must have a direct federal loan or consolidate. That's why consolidate is a big piece of this waiver. Then you have to make 120 qualifying payments. So those payments, it doesn't have to be consecutive. Maybe you had a break with a certain agency, you worked in private sector, you came back. So you could have a break in service, but you need to have 120 monthly payments while working for a qualified employer. And then after that, you apply to receive, public service loan forgiveness, and you get it done. So we'll talk a little bit more into detail, but these are just the four main pieces of the public service loan forgiveness program. Now, like I said, there was just a lot of messy stuff when it came to the beginning of this public service loan forgiveness. So right now, we've got the big do-over, this temporary waiver. The temporary waiver, again, is where borrowers will receive credit that they normally would not have for the payments that they made that count towards the 120. And this waiver ends on October 31st. So we don't have a whole lot of time. And that's why we wanted to do these sessions, to make sure you were getting the process going and that you don't get left out of this really, really valuable benefit. Now, how many days do we have? It's countdown time. Okay, 48 days until loan forgiveness. Now, Virginia, I see that we have a question. Is there anything that you want me to answer?
This question concerns a parent with the Parent Plus loan, and it seems that they want to know, there seems to be no relief for us. And so I think that there is some information, but I'm not sure of how much information.
Okay, and I'm actually seeing that question, and I will talk a little bit about Parent Plus loans. The one thing I can say is that one-time cancellation, as you saw, the Parent Plus loans were included. So you're included in that, either 10,000 or 20,000 if it's a Pell Grant. So keep that in mind. And remember those income-driven repayment plans. Unfortunately, the Parent Plus loans will only qualify for ICR, which is income contingent, and I'll get to that as well. So we'll look at that. I can say, this is a valid concern, because a lot of the best programs do go to undergraduate and graduate. The Parent Plus loans, to me, the benefits aren't as generous, but you're not completely left out. So I will get to that part a little bit and talk a little bit more about that, because we did have a question last time around the Parent Plus loans.
And Jackie, there is a second question concerning private loans. I know that if you are a nonprofit and private, that you may qualify, but I'm not sure about any other private organizations. And the question is, why don't the government include private loans in the loan forgiveness program?
Yeah, I'll definitely answer that. So the government only has certain authority. The government does not have authority over loans that belong to a private company. It's just that simple. They have no authority over them. I know it kind of sucks, like if you refinance your loans into private and now you don't qualify, but they have no authority to do that, which is why I always stress, stay within the public student loan environment. Stay with the government loans. Sometimes the interest rates might seem a little bit higher, but because of all the provisions and all the benefits with those programs, with the government loans, you just cannot beat it. So yeah, unfortunately, the government does not have authority over those organizations, or those private companies, so it wouldn't be able to. I see this other question. I'm gonna go ahead and take that to Virginia.
Okay, thank you.
So it's about the FFEL loans through a commercial lender with the consolidation does not occur before. Okay, so for the FFEL loans, very good on consolidating that. It doesn't have to be, the consolidation does not have to be complete by October 31st. You just have to start the process. Now, obviously, the sooner the better. If it were me, I would want to make sure that much sooner than October 31st, I want to see that my loans have been consolidated, because this is a one-time thing that's going to be hugely valuable for you. So do not worry about the October 31st deadline if you have started the process, okay? Because it's taken them 4 to 6 weeks. So just go ahead and get it started. Okay, those are all great questions. So let's continue. How about that? Public service loan forgiveness waiver is still working. I'm still seeing people every day bragging about their loans being forgiven. So keep in mind that this is working. Stick with it. It might take a little bit extra time. It might take a little more focus from you to get this done, but at the end of this rainbow, there is a big pot of gold for you in the form of lightening your debt load. So it is working. So again, I want to mention the two most important places to get your information from. Okay, so the official place to get all your information about the PSLF waiver and anything to do with federal student loans, studentaid.gov/PSLF, and then MOHELA. MOHELA is the official servicer of public service loan forgiveness. Now, what about the payment pause? So we did get questions around this, so I wanted to clarify this again. So $0 payments and 0% interest went from April 2020, and it'll go through December 2022. So that's 33 months. So if you're going for public service loan forgiveness and you've been working for Fulton County during this entire time, you at least should have 33 months. And if you were also not in school. So this is really a big deal. There's your 33 payments already right there, making $0 payments, but they do count. They do count towards the 120 qualifying payments. Next, if you paid during the pause, you may request a refund through your servicer. I talked to Virginia about this right before we started, and just double check on the studentaid.gov website that talks about the pause. It has a section right there, refunds, and it says that you may contact your servicer, your loan servicer, and request a refund. Simple as that. You don't need a reason or anything. The reason is that is a provision of this student loan payment pause. So if you made payments, I would pick up the phone or contact my loan servicer to say, I would like a refund, because if you're going for forgiveness, the payments are based on, an income-driven payment plan. And it's not based on necessarily how much your loan is, it's based on your income. All right, then the remaining balance, let's see, let me move this out of the way. All right, the remaining balance will be forgiven after 120 qualifying payments. So I think we all know that now. That's great. All right. Now, to consolidate loans, here's a little more information on that. Remember that only direct loans are eligible for PSLF. So that means that if you have an like the question that was just asked, if you have an FFEL loan or Perkins loan, you must consolidate to a direct loan. You will not get a chance to do this once the waiver has expired. So if I would say in order of priority, the main thing is to get the consolidation started. It just has to be started before October 31st. And it may not be finished, but you need to get it started. And honestly, if you get started today after this call, it should only take about 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then consolidate loans by following the steps at studentaid.gov. And when you go there, I've got a few screenshots that I'll be showing you as well, but you go to the top, you've got all the menus there, but it's manage loans, consolidate my loans. And it's basically go there and it will step you through the process. Once the consolidation gets started, AidVantage is going to be the place that will do the processing. So you'll get sent a letter that will say, hey, we received your consolidation request. We are about to process it and so forth. Then if you have multiple direct loans, you can consolidate into one. So the example is like each time every semester they issue you a new loan. So most of us, more than likely, has multiple direct loans, and they're, it's kind of annoying to see all those different loans. You can consolidate those, and they will, if you have been making payments, let's say you've been with Fulton County since 2007, you've been making payments, they're going to count the loan with the oldest payment. Normally with consolidation, they once you consolidate, they start you back over. But with the waiver, they're not. They will take the oldest payment. That's a big deal too. And then again, AidVantage is going to be the processor for your consolidations. That is temporary. Once they're done with the consolidation, they're going to move it over to MOHELA or some other servicer. If you're on public service loan forgiveness and they have that in their records, it should be MOHELA. If it's not MOHELA, I would contact whatever servicer they put you with and let them know you're going for public service loan forgiveness. Is there anything special you need to do? That's consolidation. Okay.
Jackie, there
Yep.
is a question concerning the 10-year loan forgiveness plan. Is it too early to give some information concerning that, or do you need to wait till later?
Okay, so let's see. I know it's late, but how does the 10-year loan forgiveness plan work? Is it that after 10 years working in certain field will be erased? Okay, yeah. So I just briefly stepped through the public service loan forgiveness, but it's always worth repeating. So the public service loan forgiveness is one, you have to work for a qualified employer, which is government, state, local, federal. Fulton County is local government, county government, or a 501c3 nonprofit. If you're working for them full-time, at least 30 hours, you will get credit for each payment that you make while you're working for that employer. Once you have 120 payments, typically 10 years, then you complete the PSLF form to get your loans forgiven. And working, you can, your current employer is Fulton County, so you would have them fill out a form. And normally you would do this every year, but if you're trying to play catch up, just get the dates that you're working there and I'll go through the form, get it to them. And if you have any other past employers that qualify, again, it's federal, state, local government, or nonprofit 501c3 agency, you go back to them and you can get that form filled out as well. You have to initiate the form like you're the quarterback, and I'll step through that a little bit too. So it's a kind of a simple program, but that's how it works. studentaid.gov/PSLF will get you all the information as well if you want to drill into any of the details. But that's a good question. It's a simple program, but there's still confusion on some of these nuances that come with it. So now our next one is that the next thing you're going to do, you're going to get on an income-driven repayment plan. You can do that on studentaid.gov, very simple, but okay. All right, so your payments can be as low as $0, just like they are now during the COVID pause. But even if it's $0, it will still count as a payment towards your 120. So just keep that in mind. Use the loan simulator to compare income-driven repayment plans. I'm going to drill into those a little bit more, but if you go to just studentaid.gov/loan simulator, you can, if you sign on, it'll have your loan information, but you don't have to sign on. You can plug in information manually yourself, but this will help you determine specifically what your payments would be, and you can compare plans that way. Direct Parent Plus loans only qualify for one of the income-driven repayment plans. That is ICR. So whoever asked that question about, so if you're on a regular Parent Plus plan, you want to make sure you consolidate to the Direct Parent Plus plan. Once you do that, then you can get on the income contingent repayment plan, where it's based on your income, not the balance. That is really important. Next, here are the four types of income-driven repayment plans. So income contingent, ICR, income-based repayment plan, pay-as-you-earn, and then the revised pay-as-you-earn. So exactly what are those? So in our last session, we had someone kind of asking more about that. So I wanted to kind of give you a summary. That's a little bit of text here, but if you go to Student Aid at the very bottom, there's a direct link to it on the studentaid.gov website, and they will go into detail about all of these plans. But just to summarize, REPAY, that is the revised pay-as-you-earn, that requires 10% of your discretionary income, which is based off of like 150% of the poverty level. Again, you are able to see exact numbers when you go to that loan simulator. That's what I suggest, because it's going to be specific to the numbers that you are putting in, and you don't have to do the math yourself. Then you've got pay as you earn. This is 10% of your discretionary income, and the discretionary income, they define it as 150% of the poverty level. So this pay is never more than the 10-year standard repayment amount. That's really important. That means it's capped. It's only going to be so much. It will never be over that 10-year standard repayment amount. Then we've got IBR. 10% of discretionary income, 150% of poverty level, if your loan was taken out after July 2014. If your loan was before July 2014, it's 15% of your discretionary income. And this one is also capped. You will never pay more than the standard repayment plan amount. And then the last one here is income contingent repayment plan. This is the only one that the direct parent plus loans qualify for. Now, this is 20% of your discretionary income, and they define that as 100% of poverty level. So not as advantageous, however, it's still income driven. So what you would pay on your repayment plan with a fixed payment over the course of 12 years and adjusted according to your income. So no matter what, so if you have a low income and a very high student loan balance, then it's still going to look at, it's going to base it on your income regardless of the amount of the loan. That's a big deal, okay? Now, IDR one-time repayment count revision. So this is something else. I didn't really talk about it last time. There wasn't a lot of information, but this is going to help you out a lot as well. So the Department of Education will conduct a one-time account adjustment for any months and a repayment status, regardless of the payments that were made, loan type or repayment. So as long as you were in repayment status, they're going to count your payments, okay? You couldn't have been in school and things like that. Now, more than 12, okay, they're going to make adjustments for this as well. More than 12 months of consecutive forbearance or more than 36 months of cumulative forbearance toward ADI, IDR, and PSLF. So this means that even when you were in forbearance, if it was at least 12 months or 36 cumulative months, they're going to go back and add that to your payment counts. And that was a question we had last time as well. So again, this is this IDR one-time payment count revision. This is something that's kind of gotten lost. I haven't heard a lot of talk about this, but for someone going for PSLF forgiveness, this is important. So also, they're going to make an adjustment to the months you spent in deferment prior to 2013. The only exception here is in-school deferment. So if you were in deferment prior to 2013, they will count those payments as well. Anytime in repayment prior to consolidating your loans, and that goes with the PSLF. And then the Department of Education, they've actually already began implementing these changes, but you may not see it in your account. They're saying until fall. You know, that's right around the corner. So you should be seeing that very, very soon. And I'm going to show you where you can check your payment counts. You can always check with your servicer, but you're really the keeper of that payment count. You want to make sure that it's right, and nobody cares about it more than you do. Okay, here's some tips for income-driven repayment. I did this last time as well. I got a few questions around it. So you want to certify at least once a year. So if you've gone many years and you know you've been working for Fulton County or another qualified employer, you haven't certified, you want to get certified using the form, and I'll show that to you. So, and just normally when you think about a loan, it's better to pay it off early, right? It's better to pay more towards it. When you're going for forgiveness, it's the opposite. So paying extra won't accelerate your months of payoff. No matter what, you have to make 120 payments, even if it's $0. So trying to pay off the balance sooner is really not going to help, because at the end of that 10 years or that 120 months, it's forgiven. It doesn't matter if it's 20,000 or 200,000. It's going to be forgiven at the end once you make those 120 payments. So that's a little counterintuitive, but if you're going for forgiveness, you really are not getting any more value from making extra payments. So it is based on your adjusted gross income. You know, they talk about the poverty level and some things like that, and you can see the exact formula, but it really comes down to your adjusted gross income. And there's some things that help you reduce that. things like contributing to your 401a, your 403b, even a health savings account. Those things lower your adjusted gross income. In the last presentation, I stepped through an example. So if you're on income-driven repayment and you want to see how can I get my payments as low as possible, looking at your adjusted gross income is going to be helpful in determining how much your payments are going to be. And then lastly, just remember, a lower AGI means lower IDR payments. Okay, so comparing IDR plans, this is just that student loan simulator again. You can use that QR code, scan it with your phone, and it'll take you to that simulator. That is going to give you hard numbers for your loans. You can either sign on to studentaid.gov and they will recognize your loans, or you don't even have to sign on and you can plug in the numbers manually. And you just go under manage loans to get there. Now, I wanted to show a couple of screenshots of where you find this information, because that's a big question too. Where do I find my payment account? Where do I find what kind of loans I'm on? So when you sign on to studentaid.gov, and if you don't have a studentaid.gov ID or it's not been working or whatever, make sure you are able to sign on, use the forgot password feature or whatever, but you definitely want to be able to get into your studentaid.gov account because it has some very important information. So this example here is when the individual has signed on. The first thing they see is their dashboard. And it shows all of the loans that they have, which in this case is $37,000. And then it shows the servicer. So it's showing that this person is with the Department of Education, MOHELA. And so the last thing is viewing details. So this shows all of my loans together. If you want to see individual loans, all those little loans they issue each semester, click on view details. And then the next page kind of shows you more information. So this person has clicked into an individual loan. So one of the semesters, they got $4,995. So here's the information to look at here. So you can see at the very top, it says dashboard, aid summary, loan details. This is where they have clicked through. The first thing it shows is what? The loan type. So this is a direct, unsubsidized loan. The subsidized versus unsubsidized doesn't matter. The part that matters is direct. It must say direct. To go for public service loan forgiveness, it must be direct. If it doesn't say direct, what does that mean? That means you need to consolidate to a direct loan. And you should check each of your loans because you could be getting different loan types. Let's say the person that has a Parent Plus loan, and then they have an undergrad loan, or they have other loans. So they could have different types of loans. In this case, this particular loan is direct, unsubsidized. And then this section, loan period. So it just shows when I got that loan taken out, which semester, and then it shows loan status. So it's in forbearance. We're all in COVID forbearance. Repayment status. For this particular person, I'm not sure if it shows forbearance because of COVID forbearance, or yours may say you are in repayment, but this is where you get your loan status, and you can click on and look at the history as well. And then here is where you have your payment counts. So I get a lot of questions about how do I know how many payments I have? If you've never submitted that form, it's going to say 0 or NA. So when it's showing PSLF, this is where the number should be. It's a little bit of a delay. Your loan servicer has this information too. They get the payments from you directly, and then the information is transferred to your studentaid.gov account. So the most current is going to be your loan servicer, but it's also kept here. So this is where you can find that information. And this is simply the studentaid.gov account after you sign on and you drill into the details of your loans. Now, this is the form. We step through completing the form. This is what you want to go ahead and do because it sort of triggers that you are going for PSLF. The PSLF help tool online is probably the best way to do it versus printing it out and filling it out manually. So you step through the tool and It will give you instructions. Once you get to the studentaid.gov website, you go to the tool, it will ask you for the pieces of information they need. As you can see, this is information that will be populated as a result of the information you put in. They'll have your information. That's the cleanest way to do it, okay? Then if you have any trouble using that tool, this is a really good article. There's only 5 steps to using the tool and filling out that form. Again, it's sort of like TurboTax. It asks you to plug in certain information, and at the very end, it's going to populate the form for you. So there's this step-by-step, has screenshots and everything. It says, become a public service loan forgiveness help tool ninja. It steps you through everything you need to do to fill out that form. It's got screenshots and it is pretty easy to follow. So do that. And then one issue that has come up with Fulton County and a lot of other agencies and borrowers is the signing of the PSLF form. So I wanted to go through that because I don't want you guys getting your form kicked back from some little nuance, but this has been something that, you know, has caused people to have to do extra work and get the form redone. So only these types of signatures are acceptable on the PSLF form. Here they are. You need a wet signature that was drawn in ink and sent in its original format. That's one thing. The other thing is you can have a wet signature that was, you know, drawn in ink, but it was digitized. And in most cases, that's how it's going to be. So you're going to get it and you're going to either, you know, print it out and sign it, or, you know, you can have like a copy of your signature. They just don't want you to use some kind of cursive font. So a wet signature that was drawn in ink and then digitized, like drawing your signature or taking a photo of it and placing that photo into the signature block. And this all seems kind of dated, right, in the world of like digital signatures, but this is how this form is. And I just don't want you to have a snag in your process. You can also have a digital signature that was drawn with your hand using a pointing device, like a mouse pad on your computer or like your smartphone. I know for sure that like the iPhone or maybe the iPad as well, if you have a PDF of something, you can choose to sign it with your finger. So that would be acceptable. And then lastly, you know, the Department of Education is saying that they cannot accept signatures that are like these font-based texts, right? Regardless of whether, you know, you made it to mimic your signature or anything. I suppose that their readers or whatever technology they use, they can recognize the difference, whether it was a hand-drawn signature or if it was actually a font that was used. So just keep that in mind. Again, I don't want anything to delay you getting this done, but this whole signature thing has come up a lot and caused, you know, delays and for people having to redo the form. So the Fulton County process, if you guys don't know that yet, let me just go through that again. Get a copy of the PSLF form. The best way is to use the tool, walk through the tool. Then you would complete that form using the tool, and then you would sign the form, you know, following those directions on the prior page. Then you would email that form to Fulton County HR. You guys have the information of who to send it to. You will get it back in 2 to 3 days, probably sooner, but you'll get that turned around really quick. And then finally, you return that completed form to MOHELA or whoever your loan processor is. It should be MOHELA if you're assigned, if it's recognizing that you're part of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. So it's these easy steps, and Fulton County has made it very easy. Okay, so you start all this at studentaid.gov. This QR code is live, so if you want to scan that, that gives you everything you need. They've got frequently asked questions, they've got a toolbar, and most of what you need is going to be under manage loans. So I'm going to pause here for just a minute. Virginia, do you have any questions you want to answer?
Yes, there are about 13 or more additional questions in the chat. So
okay, let's take 3. You want to take a few questions and then I will finish up, and then we'll have a lot more time for questions after that as well.
Okay. Do you have to apply for the income-driven repayment plan by 10/31?
I mean, you definitely should. I'm trying to think if they, yeah, you do. You need to go ahead and get signed up as soon as possible with that. Honestly, by October 31st, you want to have really everything locked down and done. The thing that takes the longest is the consolidation. As far as the income-driven repayment plan, those happen pretty quick. And what happens with that is you have to certify each year with your income. But yes, that was easy. Like I signed up for that. It took me like 10 minutes to do it. So yes, go ahead and get yourself on an income-driven repayment plan right away.
Okay, I completed my application and sent it in to Mahila about 2 weeks ago. Should I reach out to them or should I just hold off?
I would say 2 weeks is plenty of time for them to get that form and update your payment count. But do this, okay? Log onto your account with Mohila, see if it is showing your payment count correctly, and then go to studentaid.gov and look at your payment count there. If that is incorrect and you think it's not reflecting the correct amount, I would go ahead and reach out to them, either call or they may have a process online and question it and make sure that there was no trouble with your form. They should be communicating with you if your form got rejected, or at least send you a letter or something like that. Or now they have like notifications within your account on Mohila. So 2 weeks to me has been plenty of time. If the payment counts are not showing, I would definitely check on that form and let them know that the payment count is not reflecting the form that you just submitted. Can you please give me a status? Good question.
Okay. Do we email the form to our previous employer for the certification process?
You do. I would, depending on how long it's been, right? There's always changes at different employers, but you want to confirm that you have the correct email address to send it to your prior employer, and send it to them. They may not have a process as streamlined as Fulton County, but they have to have some kind of process. So I would contact them and say, I am going for public service loan forgiveness. I need to have this form completed. And you may even want to ask them, the dates that you have on record, just so you have the most accurate information when you're filling out that PSLF tool. So get with the prior employer, make sure you have the correct email address and the correct dates that you work. So you have that and you can put that on the form, or just leave it blank for them to fill out. So yeah, you can go back to prior employers.
Okay, the last one, would you please provide the email again for the public service loan forgiveness form?
Yeah, so, okay, so if you're wanting to get the form to initiate it, you just go to studentaid.gov. But if you're needing to know where to send it with Fulton County, Virginia, you'll get that information to them?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get that information to you as well for Fulton County. So those are all good questions, So again, this is just the main page and where to start with your public service loan forgiveness. It's going to answer a ton of questions. It steps you through everything. And this is the go-to place. All right, Mohila is the other place. The question that you just asked was about Mohila. This is the official servicer of public service loan forgiveness. I just want you to know what their website looks like. So when you go there, you'll have a section for boroughs, a section for employers. When it comes to the PSLF, you obviously are a borrower, so you want to go there. Just remember that FedLoan was the old servicer of the public service loan forgiveness program. When you consolidate, it's going to go to AidVantage. They're going to consolidate your loans for you. That is temporary. It's going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And then when they're done, they're going to send it to Mohila, and Mohila will be the official servicer. If it goes to any other servicer other than Mohila, you might want to contact that servicer, let them know that you're going for public service loan forgiveness and you thought that should be Mohila. What do you need to do now? Okay, so here are our checkpoints, you guys. basically summing up everything that we talked about. So make sure you're on a direct loan, right? If you're not on a direct loan, what do? You consolidate, and you start that consolidation at studentaid.gov. Make sure that you are on an income-driven repayment plan. I listed the 4. You can, if you are on a direct Parent Plus loan, the only income-based repayment plan is ICR, but there's 4 that you can choose from for everyone else. You can use the also you can use the student loan simulator, where you can put in your numbers and it will show you dollar amounts that will compare each of the income-driven plans. Check your payment count. You can go to studentaid.gov or your loan servicer. Studentaid.gov is going to be slightly delayed, so the most current is going to be with your loan servicer. That's where you want to check your payment counts. And then you want to complete and submit the PSLF forms. It was formerly called the ECF, but use the PSLF tool that is at studentaid.gov. It will step you through with the information, populate it for you, and just make sure you're following all the rules when it comes to the signatures. These are your checkpoints. So this is going to get you going. Then in the last session, someone mentioned some online groups. So I wanted to mention those. I'm not endorsing one or the other, but sometimes it gets kind of lonely, trying to get this stuff right, and you feel like you're the only one that doesn't understand this or that. There's a whole community of people that have student loans that's going for forgiveness just like you are. So a couple of the groups, this is one of the Facebook groups. It's Librarians for PSLF. They have a lot of good information there. The really big one, though, is this Public Service Loan Forgiveness Support Group. This is a Facebook group. And then the last one is Reddit also has a PSLF subreddit. So if you want the sense of community and you want to kind of maybe be a part of a group where other people are dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with in terms of public service loan forgiveness, very valuable information there. And again, providing a little support for people that are in the same boat as you are. And then here are a couple of great videos. These are very, very current. So I keep my ear to the latest when it comes to public service loan forgiveness. So the 2 that I found most valuable over the past 2 weeks, I just want to share those with you. One is Student Loan Planner, which they do an excellent job of keeping abreast of the very latest in student loans, but they have a YouTube video that kind of steps through some things. And the other one is a group called Save 10. They did this 20-minute or so video talking all about the latest with public service loan forgiveness. These both came out on September 6th. So these are literally a week ago. So they're going to have some really good information. And if you are auditory or visual learners like me, doing the videos or even listening to podcasts are the most helpful for me. And then these are some resources. Those were with the last presentation as well, but definitely want to mention that the big 2, right? What are those? studentaid.gov and MOHELA, okay? And then consumerfinance.gov, that's the CFPB, the government agency that oversees and kind of like they educate and they advocate for borrowers. And then forgivemystudentdebt.org. Oh, they had some really good resources there. And then lastly, student loan planners. And Virginia, one of the questions I got last time was like someone saying that this was just really confusing. It was a lot. Is there anyone that could like help them with this? Student loan planner, they do have professionals with, special expertise in working one-on-one with people to help them when it comes to student loans in a lot of different ways, not just PSLF. But if someone wants any one-on-one stuff, student loan planner, I know are one place that does one-on-one sessions and things like that. So that pretty much does it, Virginia. So let's tackle some questions. Let me do a time check. Look at there. So we have almost an hour for questions. So let's go at it.
Okay, there are several in the chat. So let me scroll up from the last one that we answered, completed the form.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to see if I can catch up, but let's see.
Okay. Okay, a logistic question. If my application is being processed for consolidation with the Department of Education, should I wait to forward my PSFL form so that it is not denied because the consolidation is not completed?
I think it might be better to wait until consolidation. So depending on when you started let's say if you started today, okay, they're also taking 4 to 6 weeks. It should be plenty of time for you to get the consolidation done. Now, if you're in a really tight window, it probably wouldn't hurt to get the form done, because the form is basically, you can at least initiate it. Because when you do the tool, it's just going to plug in information, you get it signed, you send it to your employer, and nothing really is even triggered until you actually get it to your servicer. So I kind of understand you don't want them to conflict in any way, but you can at least get the process started. I would probably feel better if the consolidation is done as well, because after consolidation, your loan might go to someone else. And so that's the only hesitation, but you can go ahead and get the form generated, sign it, get it to Fulton County signs it, and you have it, and you submit it once you officially know who your servicer is after the consolidation.
Okay, the next question. Do you know how long the process will take in order for the loan to be forgiven?
Okay, so let's say once you have so I'm assuming, so there's a lot of different forgiveness going on. So I'm assuming they're talking about the public service loan forgiveness. Once you apply for, okay, so once you get your 120 payments, you apply for it. I've heard a lot of different dates. I'm guessing it's somewhere around 2 to 4 weeks. There could be, if there's no snags, but if you have the 120 payments, it's clearly showing that under your account, and you have it, and all you have to do is go through the formality. I'm thinking a matter of weeks if there's no snags in it. The thing that causes delays is if there's, I don't know, a discrepancy or just something that is holding it up. But, so it shouldn't take forever, probably a matter of weeks if everything is in order.
Okay, the next question, are you still able to apply for the public SLF program if your student loans are in deferment or forbearance?
Oh yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, some of the questions are repetitive that have been answered.
Right.
Okay, this question, I may have missed the answer to my questions. If you are the founder of a 501c3, will that count towards your public service loan forgiveness?
Okay, so in terms of being a founder, the role that you have does not matter. So you're going to get the form. I'm not sure if you or if there's someone else at that 501c3 is the person that signs the form, but that's going to determine it. And you can go to the PSLF tool, online tool, and see, or you can check for employers, and you can check for organizations to see if they are a qualified employer. Now, if it's a small 501c3, it's possible that it might not be in that tool. In that case, you will plug in your EIN number when they ask for it. You need to have that and see if it gets approved. So it sounds like it would if it's officially a 501c3, because they must have some way to verify. But you would go through the same process as anyone else. You generate the form, you send it to the authorized person at the organization, they sign off on it, you submit it to MOHELA or whoever your servicer is. So that's it. So it work like anything else. Being the position that you have at the agency doesn't matter. You just need to make sure the agency is a qualified employer. If you check the tool, don't get discouraged if they might say it's not in there if it's a really small 501c3. But just do the form and submit it and then go from there.
Okay, where can you find the waiver form?
So the waiver, there's really no waiver form officially. If you want to take advantage of the waiver program, you would simply consolidate if you need to, check to make sure you have direct loans. If you don't, you consolidate. If you do already have direct loans, all you need to do is use that PSLF form that's under the tool in studentaid.gov. You walk through the process. I showed an image of that form, but it generates that form, and you get to your employer. They sign off on it. You get it, and then you submit it to your loan servicer, and that's all you do. At the very end, you would officially apply once you get to the 120 payments, and I would definitely want to make sure that my loan servicer is reflecting 120 payments. So there's no per se waiver form.
Okay, once I did my consolidation, some of the loan interests had lower rates. Should I consolidate and remove the loans with the lower rate from the consolidation?
Okay, so this is important. Remember, we talked about the income-driven repayment plans. The income-driven repayment plans, they ignore interest and they ignore the balance, right? It may accrue, right? You're going to see it growing, but the reason for income-driven payment plans is that they are based on your income, not the interest rate and not the amount of the loan. So that's the beauty of being on an income-driven repayment plan. So if it probably should be showing interest because it is gonna compound, it is gonna grow or whatever. But if you're going for forgiveness after 10 years, no matter how much you owe, no matter how much interest has been racking up, they are forgiven. Everything is forgiven after 120 qualified payments. So I wouldn't worry about it, but I would make sure that you are on an income-driven repayment plan, and probably would go ahead and consolidate. If you've got a bunch of little loans because they were issued each semester, consolidate that into one loan, and then make sure you're on an income-driven repayment plan. One of those 4 that I mentioned.
That concludes the ones in the chat, but I do have a question from someone that's in my email, so I am trying to get to it now.
Okay, and so I'm looking at the Q&A right now. There's a Q&A box that has some things as well, because I can go through those. I can go through those too. Let's see here.
Okay, and that's where I pulled all the questions from the Q&A. No questions are in the chat.
Okay, you got those. Okay, great. Okay, I didn't know if I was looking at something different.
So this one in my email, I'm trying to get.
No, and I see someone that had asked something about the amount that I'm going to have to pay monthly is too much for me. Can I ask for them to reevaluate my income-driven repayment plan, or will MOHELA do that? I think you can ask that. You can always ask for a reevaluation. That's totally fine. What I would do as well, I would go to that loan simulator, put in your income, just so you get a sense of what makes sense for you to be paying. Now, of course, right now there's 0 payments until the end of December. So you don't have to worry about that until January, but in order to prepare for that, I would go to the loan simulator, sign on if you can, so it will look at your loans and give you all the different options, because maybe the income-driven payment plan you're on is not the best. You know, you have a choice and you can choose one of those 4. So definitely make sure you do that. MOHELA, well, the loan servicer may be able to do that as well. I just like to start at studentaid.gov, and they will push you to your loan servicer if needed. And also remember that part of that one-time cancellation announcement that they made on the 24th of August, that is going to significantly reduce what is required for an income-driven repayment plan. Normally, it's about 10% of your discretionary income. They're reducing that to 5%. And then on top of that, right now they define discretionary income as 150% of poverty level for most of those repayment plans. They're going to raise that so that will help even more. So just with the new income-driven repayment plan, that could slash your payments in half just with that new provision. But I would definitely start with going to the loan simulator and looking at real numbers for your loans and all the different options and going from there. But yeah, you can ask for a reevaluation.
Okay, the question in the email, I would like to know if a person that is currently participating in the public service loan forgiveness go back to school and take out a grad plus loan to be reconsolidated.
Yeah, if you are, okay, so if you're in school, you have old loans that you're paying off, those loans should continue. I would try to do whatever you can to keep those in repayment status, the old loans, because you want to get credit for these COVID months where the payments are zero. For the loans that you're doing now, for your grad plus loans, if you're not finished, they can't include the loans, but I would see if I could get it consolidated. But this waiver is only going until October 31st. So any disbursements prior to that, it's an active loan, you should be able to consolidate that. But after this waiver and October 31st, the rules change. So if you get any disbursements of your loans after that date, you're not going to be able to consolidate, or it's not going to be advantageous, because if you try to consolidate, it'll go back to the old rules. Remember that the old rules say that if you consolidate, they're going to start your count over. So you definitely don't want that. So you may have to end up with that being separate, but I definitely would try to see if I can, any loans that have been dispersed so far while you're in grad school, can you get those consolidated? Because you can still be in repayment if you want to, which I would in your case, because you're going for forgiveness and you want the payments to count. But yeah, I would go ahead and get those included in my consolidation, and let them tell you that you can't, but I don't see why you couldn't if the loans have been dispersed.
Okay, questions concerning the Parent Plus loan. Can I combine my loans and combine the Parent Plus loan in two separate loans, or will I have to combine all loans together?
Yeah, so that is a really interesting opportunity. So you got Parent Plus loans, and you have, let's say, a direct or any other undergrad loan, graduate loan, or whatever. You do what they call sort of a double consolidation, right? So you're going to be taking your Parent Plus loan and your other loan, putting them together to be consolidated. This is going to give you an opportunity to be on a regular direct loan, which means that you can choose any four of those repayment plans, which means that they will use, so they're not going to go back, they're not going to use the Parent Plus loans and go back for payments made on that. But your other loan, whatever your oldest payment was on that other loan, that is the number of payments you're going to get credit for. So for the people with Parent Plus loans, that's a nice little advantage that you get if you have another loan. If all you got is a Parent Plus loan, all you can do is a direct Parent Plus loan. But if you have a regular direct loan or some other loan that you can put with that Parent Plus loan, consolidate, you can get to a regular direct loan. Opens up a lot more windows for you. So I'm looking in the Q&A to see if there's anything that maybe.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see if there's anything different as well.
Okay, let's see. All right, okay, so somebody's saying that they submitted their application to PSLF in August, and they sent it to a fax number. I don't know if that number is right. And you may have already done this, but refer to that page. You guys will all get a PDF copy of this, but there's a page where I listed all the student loan servicers and the phone numbers. So you can call and check with them. Now, if you go to studentaid.gov, and then you can probably just Google studentaid.gov loan services, they will list all those loan services. They may or may not, well, they should have fax numbers of those. And I'm not sure if many of them use fax numbers. Apparently, the one that you listed here has a fax number, but I would definitely call them. Use the phone number, call them, let them know you faxed it to this number on this date. And honestly, it looks like it's been 3 weeks. No, it's been almost a month. Yeah, you definitely want to check on that to make sure they got it. I think many of them have an online portal where you will get a confirmation, or you can email it to them and get a confirmation. But with faxing, I'm not sure how they do that, but just go to that page where I listed out all of the servicers, find your servicer, call them and make sure they got the fax. And Virginia, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like someone's raising their hand. I'm trying to see how I could see that.
Okay, let me get out of my email. Let's see. Lower hand.
Oh, okay. So let me see. I think I see it here. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to check it too. It says attendee.
Yeah, I clicked on
Okay,
attendee.
okay. It looks like yeah, Rosalind Marshall with the hand raised, and Guan Shepherd.
So can we start with Rosalind and unmute her so she
Let's
can?
see if okay.
She's been allowed to talk.
Okay, it looks like I was able to unmute. That's to unmute.
So Rosalind, are you able to unmute yourself, and we'll unmute you on our end as well?
Can you hear me?
Hey.
Okay, so good. So this may be a better process for make sure that your background noise is off, and we can allow you to unmute to share your questions.
Hey, Rosalind, how are you?
Okay.
What was your question?
Oh, good. I didn't really know my hand was up, but it's a good thing I got. So my question is, I think I had stepped away because I'm at the library, so I'm working on this. I have a laptop up there. My question, I think you answered maybe. So if I'm already in the loan forgiveness when I was with I guess I forgot who I had, the rate loan. I was in NeoNet. So my things got turned over to Mohica. What's how you pronounce it?
Mohila. It's Mohila.
Mohila. And so do we need to fill out a new form for the county to do the start it up, or just going to continue from what we already paid?
Okay, so if your loan got transferred from NeoNet to Mohila, your payment count should have transferred. So there's two places to check your payment count. You can go to studentaid.gov and sign onto your account and look at your loans. And you can go to Mohila. Do you already have an ID and a password to get onto Mohila?
Okay. No, I don't. They sent me the paperwork, but I didn't set up an account now.
Okay.
So I had to.
Yeah, I would set up the account, but if you just go to studentaid.gov, you should be able to see your payment count. So you want to confirm that that's correct and everything got moved over properly.
Oh, and I just went on while I was talking, but I guess I got my wrong email because I didn't get anything. So I don't know if they got my old email.
Okay, well, I tell you what, just check studentaid.gov or Mohila. You know, you definitely want to get your ID working for those because you're the only one that cares about your payment count, right? So you want to make sure that's correct, especially prior to this waiver ending. And have you been doing your forms every year?
Well, like I said, no, I think because of COVID, we was able to send
Okay,
payments for what. So I haven't did a form in a minute. I don't know.
Okay, so and that's fine. So I would do catch up, especially with this waiver. So you go to studentaid.gov, you do that PSLF form. It'll step you through it, and you put in your information, the dates. You don't even have to fill out the dates, or you can get the dates from HR, and just catch up and make sure that all of your payments so how long you've been working for Fulton County?
22 years, 23.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you got plenty.
So that's why I was going to ask you, how do we, because you said we've been making payments. So if I'm doing a refund from paying when they put the freeze on whatever they did. So how would I go about that?
So you're doing things in the right order. Get your refund. And it's a simple request. Based on the COVID pause provision, I would like to get a refund for these payments that I made. You need to confirm that you have 120 payments. If it doesn't show 120 payments, you need to make sure you do fill out one of those forms, the PSLF form, to make sure all of your payments get counted. You've been there for way longer than you had to be. Your 120 payments are satisfied. You just need to make sure that information gets to the right people that need to forgive the loans. So once if you don't see that number, that the payment count is over 120, you need to fill out the form. You need to make sure you have your dates on there. sign it, get it to Fulton County, email it to them, they sign it, they'll put the dates. If you didn't put the dates, that's fine. And then you upload it to MOHELA. They have an upload portal, get access to the account, you upload it, give them time to review it, see your payment counts and that you have far exceeded what you needed to, and you'll be able to get it forgiven. That's going to take a few weeks, once they say, okay, yeah, you have 120 payments, we're processing it, give them a few weeks, and then it'll be forgiven. But you have definitely met the requirement by working for Fulton County full-time for at least 10 years and made 120 payments. So you just need to get those few administrative things taken care of and you'll be good.
Okay, one last question. So when you say forgiven, is that going to be all your loans, or was it up to just 10,000, or how much was forgiven?
No, so with the public service loan forgiveness, it's the whole thing, as long as you made the 120 payments. Yes. Now the lump sum that you're talking about that was just announced in August, that is a maximum of 10,000 or a maximum of 20,000 if you got a Pell Grant. So that is a completely different program. Everyone with a government student loan benefits from that. Public service loan forgiveness, only public servants through this program.
Okay. Because when you said the government didn't do private, because I'm paying loan for my son who's in Morehouse and still paying that bill. But it's a Sallie Mae loan forgiveness. So you said we can't. I mean, it's Sallie Mae loan, so we can't get that. The government won't do nothing with that, because that bill is so high. Like, me and my husband both paying it. So how can we work on that, getting that lowered?
The private one, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, the private one, that's a completely different thing. You might be able to refinance to another private provider that has a lower interest rate, but you're not able to come back into the government student loan system.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
All right, thank you.
At least you'll have the rest of them forgiven, and hopefully that'll give you a little more flexibility with taking care of the private loans.
Okay, anyone with a question, if you would go to the bottom of your PowerPoint presentation under Q&A, you can type in your question in that portion. I see 2 people with their hand raised, but I don't see a mic, so I'm not real sure if you are able to actually ask a question. So you might want to go to the Q&A session and type it in.
Okay, and we can go through some of those as well. And Rosalind, it was great talking to you. If you are done, you can lower your hand and we will take some other questions. Thank you so much. So you want to hit the Q&A again, Virginia?
Yes, let's check it again. So I'm going to start at the bottom and scroll up. So maybe, okay. Can you repost the latest YouTube links? Okay.
Oh yeah, let me go back to that. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, let me go back to share screen and get here. All right. So, okay. So Virginia, can you confirm that you can see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the latest, just 2 YouTube videos that kind of hit on some important things and the latest when it comes to the public service loan forgiveness. So I'll keep that up. So let's go back to the Q&A.
Okay, I started working at Fulton County in February 2018, but I transferred to a different job, I guess, in October 2021. My HR dated my paperwork from 2021 and did not include 2018. Is that right?
Well, whenever you're getting those forms filled out, they are per employer. So good, you went back to the old employer. If you had a break in service, it might not include that. You may have to have 2 forms, but you definitely should get credit for and submitting the proper forms. Again, they might be separate forms, but you have a start date and an end date. So if you had a break in service, then that's going to require a second form. So anytime that you work full-time for a qualified employer and you make payments towards your student loans, that should get counted. So you may have to have an additional form, but you definitely should get credit for it. So I see one here, Virginia. I paid around $9,000 during my home closing in 2021. Is that ineligible for a refund? I'm not sure about a home closing, or so the only thing you're able to get a refund for is if you paid your normal or paid any payments during the COVID pause on your student loans. So from April 2022, maybe even March, that happened in the middle of the month, but from 2020, 2021, 2022, if you made any payments, you can get a refund of payments paid towards your student loan. You want to reach out, and these are government student loans, you want to reach out to your loan servicer on that. Okay, so I got that one, Virginia. Let's see. Okay, someone's saying for some reason the site is not showing my payment counts. So I'm assuming, I'm not sure if you mean studentaid.gov or your loan servicer, but check both. If they're not showing your payment counts, then that is a red flag and you should track down what is going on, and you may have to submit a form. But I would reach out to your loan servicer and say, I'm not showing that there are any payments for me, but if you completed the form, the payment should be showing, but if they're not, you need to find out why. Okay, that's a good one. You want to make sure those payment counts are right.
Okay. I don't think I see anything different.
Okay, let's see. Oh, here's something here I see. What can you do if you co-sign a loan? So co-signing a loan, you want to, see the type of loan. And as a co-signer, you don't really, whoever took out the loan is going to be the person responsible for it, or the person that gets the benefit from it, or whatever. If it's a private loan, that loan is not going to count for any of this forgiveness or the program. So I would go to studentaid.gov, take a look at the loan, see the type of loan and so forth, and make sure you understand the kind of loan that you have.
Okay, I see a different one as well. What about if you have worked for multiple agencies of nonprofit? I only see that there is an option for one employer on the form. Also, does the years of employment have to be within the time frame of the eligibility for the public service loan forgiveness?
Okay, that's a really great question. So first, the payments that count are only payments since October 2007. So anything prior to then, you cannot count. But if it's after 2007, you can. And on the PSLF form, the reason why it only has room for one employer, because it's only one form, one employer. If you have 5 employers, you need 5 forms. If you had 2 employers, you need 2 forms. So you cannot combine them on the same form. So one form for each employer that you had, and you have to go back to each of those employers and do that. And that's why for some people, if they work for multiple employers, now they kind of do have to go back and track them down and find who the right person is and so forth. But to be able to go back and get credit for those payments when normally you couldn't is a really, really nice benefit. So just think of a piggy bank you're filling up. So for every employer, you're getting those payments credited for you until it reaches 120. And if you have enough past employers and enough payments where you're at 120, you're ready to get your loans forgiven. But you do have to go through that step of filling out those forms for each employer that you had. Now I do see a hand up. It looks like there is a microphone. So are we able to unmute her mic?
Okay, now, Shepherd, you can unmute.
And so do we have to unmute her too?
I asked her or him, is it one?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, if you are able to unmute, go ahead to unmute. I gave you the ability to do so.
I hit ask to unmute. Let me see here. Yeah, so I hit the request to ask the person to unmute.
Yeah,
And their mic may not be working. And I do see a note in the chat, so maybe we got the question, but if not, you're welcome to unmute and verbally ask any other question. And if anyone else has questions, please feel free. You can raise your hand, you can go on mic, or you can continue typing your question. Okay, so we do have another one. Let's see, allow to talk.
okay, Jackie, if you would give me the ability to share the screen, I did a slide with the information for them to send in their certification to Fulton County.
Okay, let me go into my stop share and let you, there we go. Okay, it's all yours. And Demetrius, if you, okay, hey, yay, we got Demetrius. Demetrius, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You got a question for us?
Yes. Okay. I don't know. You probably already covered it, but I'm coming in late because I'm going back and forth in and out my office. But
oh, no worries.
I had just went to Navient and did my consolidation, and they sent me over to Aidvantage.
Okay.
And during my consolidation process, I did do the income payment, the income payment program.
Okay.
I did all that at once during the consolidation, but then on Aidvantage, it don't show my payment information or anything like that.
Okay, that's an excellent question, and I've seen this come up as well. So when Aidvantage has the loan and working on the consolidation process, it may say 0 payments with Aidvantage. So give it time to process. Once it's processed and it's moved to MOHELA, that's when your payment count should be updated. So don't worry. What Aidvantage is doing is temporary. So they're sort of the holder, the processor, and then they move it permanently to MOHELA. So they are not done with your consolidation yet?
No, not yet. Well, and then on Navient, they still trying to make me pay money too as well. So so I'm not okay. So
now with Navient, no matter what loan you have, as long as it's a government loan and Navient is a government loan servicer, we're still in payment pause. $0, 0 interest.
They will sweat me about let's still making payments, and I told them about it last year. I was like, well, we're supposed to be in a payment pause. They said, no, you have to pay. And they were still making me pay. And there was government loans. I do have a private loan that I'm paying on, but the government loans, the 2 government loans I have, they were still making me pay on that as well.
Okay, so have you checked your student8.gov account? Have you logged on lately?
Yes.
Okay, and the loans are showing there, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm not, and can you see the status for it? Like, is it saying, honestly, no matter what the status is, the payments are
it's active and everything like that. I mean, it's current and everything. So, but I still don't understand why that they were still making me pay. And so I sent them an email last week and I haven't heard anything from them yet.
Yeah, they're definitely in violation if they are trying to collect from you during the payment pause. I'm sure they have realized that since they've spoken to you.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone that's out there, if you log on to student8.gov and you see that your loans are there, you should not have to make any payments on those. And I've put the list of government loan servicers. So if your loan is with one of those servicers and you can see the loan through student8.gov, $0 payments, and 0% interest till the end of the year. Now, loan servicers should clearly know that. Like, this has been around for 2 years. You should not be paying. So, but don't be afraid to talk to them. Just say, I'm looking at the studentaid.gov website, which, is over this entire program, and there's no payments due. So I'm trying to understand why you are insisting on a payment that's in violation of what this, what the law is around this provision.
And that's a similar type of email that I sent them last week, and then I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So
they might try to realize, I don't know, maybe they had a new person or something like that, but that's definitely way off of
no, because I just completed last month and a half recertified with a new income payment base income payment base.
Yeah, and the thing is that even that income driven payment plan, I want you to go ahead and get on it, but there's still no payments for that due until January. Probably January, February, because
I owe them jokers right now.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you are very much correct. You can, and whoever you talk to on the phone, they can go to studentaid.gov and clearly look at the provision. You shouldn't have to educate them on what this provision is. They should be well aware of it. Okay, but they're definitely in violation. Last time I mentioned a student on studentaid.gov, they have an ombudsman that will step in and advocate for you if there's any complaints or any issues. And this is clearly an issue. You should, like you I'm sure you heard the entire time I'm telling everybody.
I'm hearing it. It's good, but it ain't happening.
I don't want anybody to pay. And if you paid, I want you to get a refund. So I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm sorry that they are not complying with what the rules are right now. So definitely now and they probably don't like that there's an educated consumer that knows the rules better than them. But if you hear anything back from them, please let them know that they should check studentaid.gov and the Department of Education, which has had this provision in place for almost 2 years. $0 payments, no interest. So I'm trying to understand why you're not complying with that.
Okay. I will do. I'm going to call them right now.
I mean, be nice. It's just an agent. It could be her first day.
I understand, but still, because matter of fact, when it was trying to last year, I told them, I said, well, there's a pause. Well, you still have to pay. And
I'm sure it's just, what there's been. I mean, I feel like everybody's blaming everything on a labor shortage, but there's been a labor shortage. I'm guessing that they're having trouble finding good people too, and they're yank somebody off the street with 2 hours worth of training and put them on the phone. So I can only guess that it's that, but by you just saying those few statements that I made, it should nip that in the bud and be done with you. They shouldn't be bothering you anymore.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call them anyways, because I definitely need to. I don't want to see them me owing the money, and I shouldn't have to. I'm going to see that red on there.
Yeah, and I was about to say, once the consolidation's done, you'll be with Mohila. And how long have you been with Fulton County?
For 6 years.
Okay, so you're really close for forgiveness. 33 payments, you didn't even have to make $0, and then the 6 years. So you'll be done within four years. It sounds like, if you continue working for a qualified employer.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be here until my loans are paid.
Excellent. That's what we want. Okay, well, thank you for that. And I think it was really important that you brought up that issue, because not everybody's followed the rules, and not everybody is complying as they should. So when that happens, know your rights. Use some of those resources I gave you, and don't let them talk you into doing something that is not part of the rules. So. Right.
I know that. But another question. So when do I fill out the public service and loan forgiveness form?
Once you confirm the form you're going to do to confirm your employment. Have you ever done one of those forms before? No,
I'm looking at it right now. So I should do it right now?
Well, you can go ahead and get it started right now. I really don't want you to submit it to the loan servicer, because your loan servicer is going to change. It's going to change from whatever you're with now, probably go to Mohila. And if it doesn't go to Mohila, that's when you need to contact whoever that servicer is and make sure they know you're going for public service loan forgiveness. So you can get the process started. It'll let you do it, but I don't want you to submit it anywhere because it might be the wrong place. Just hang tight.
So when I'll let the human resource, you say it goes to human resources first, or
no? Go to the you got to generate it off of the studentaid.gov website. Go to the PSLF tool, online tool, and it'll step you through once you're signed on, it just populates all of your basic information, and then it asks you a few other things like the dates, the EIN number for your employer, the dates of your employment, make sure you have that correct. And then in the end, it's going to populate a form with all the information you just plugged in. And then you would sign it. Yep.
If you need to share your screen again, I stopped sharing so you can put up those screens again so that they can have the information that's needed.
Okay, I got you. So you're going to submit the form to Fulton County. You're going to email it to them, and they're going to fill out their part, and they're going to sign, and then that's going to be it. You get it, and you hold on to it until you know who your servicer is, and it should be MOHELA.
Okay, yeah, because during the consolidation, I was selecting MOHELA, but then it went to Advantage. So you say Advantage is going to eventually go over to MOHELA.
Yes. So I'm glad you said that. So you when you consolidated, they asked you, are you going for PSLF? You said yes, and then they pushed it to Advantage. That is the correct process, because MOHELA does not get it until the consolidation is processed with Advantage. Then from Advantage, they send it to MOHELA. So MOHELA is going to be the final resting place for your loans.
Okay, and then that's when I submit the PSLF to MOHELA.
Yes, because when that form is and I want to share this as well. Hang on. And the form is it has MOHELA's information on there. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that out and show everybody. We showed it last time, but
okay, yeah, I have the form in front of me, but I pulled it off of Navient website. I didn't pull it. I didn't get it off of.
Oh yeah. I would go back and do it through the tool. And if you can see my screen now, hang on. Section 7 will show you that they want this sent to MOHELA because they know that they're the official servicer.
Okay.
See that in green?
See on mine, they're saying the U.S. Department of Education, and then upload to myfedloans.org file.
Yeah, FedLoan is the old servicer of the Student Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. So now that you're consolidating, or Advantage consolidates it temporarily, moves it to MOHELA. So it's okay. So if you're going to do the form, generate it off of the studentaid.gov, and this is the form you're going to get. In box 7 is the new form. Box 7 has submitted to MOHELA.
Okay.
So you're going to have to hang on to the form, and you may not, since your consolidation, it sounds like it might be done pretty soon here. You can just wait to do that, just to make sure it reflects as many months as possible.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got the process started.
I sure did, but okay, I'm going to work on getting my money back.
All right. Good job.
All right,
good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
All right.
All right. Who else we got? Let's see. Anybody else got their hand raised? Let's see here. I see one here. Andre, are you able to talk, Andre?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How are you doing?
I'm great. What about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. I had a quick question. I went to MOHELA. Fortunately, the only thing when I ask about payments, they're just saying there was nothing in the past 24 months. And I made payments prior to FedLoan. So I'm just, are they taking that into consideration of the payments that were made to FedLoan? Because that's where I made my payments back in the 2000s when I started the repayment plan. And but I'm just, like I said, I did go to the site. It did not pull up all of my payments. So I did go back, and now it seems they're going to send me something through the mail, but I'm just trying to make sure that those payments from FedLoan are considered along, with all the payments that were made.
Yeah, you should have gotten credit for those. Now, did you certify those? Did you use at the time it was the ECF form? Did you fill out the form to get credit for your payments?
Yes.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
Oh, good Lord. I started the process back in 2000, maybe 18,
Okay, that's good. I just want to make sure it wasn't
Okay.
before 2007. So you should definitely get credit for those payments.
Okay.
Now, they may ask for proof or whatever of the payments, but normally they come out of your bank account. Like, were you automatically paying?
Oh,
them?
yeah, definitely. Because it was
Yeah.
automatic payment. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you have easy tracking of proof of
Mhm.
those payments.
Right.
And so it has to be one of these few things, okay? It's either that they're not showing that you paid, but you got proof that you did,
Mhm.
or they're not saying that you were employed by a qualified employer full time, and you can prove that as well.
Right.
That is normally proved through the form.
Okay,
So
right.
whenever they send you the letter, you want to be clear on what is missing here.
Okay.
So there's only two things that could cause those payments to not show up.
Okay. And then additionally, I did get the email to send the form, but it said undelivered when I sent to VOE at Fulton County GA.gov.
Yeah, make sure you have the right email address.
Yeah, I did. I checked, but it bounced back. So
it bounced back?
I just forwarded it straight to Virginia. So
Right. Okay, good.
and I attached the email just to show that it was undelivered for some reason. So okay.
Okay,
great.
Andrea, and I'll get it there.
Okay.
Jackie, we are losing participants. So what I would like to do is to put up the survey
Okay.
slide so that everyone currently on the call can complete the survey. And you can do so in one of three ways: by actually clicking on the link, or you can use your phone to copy the QR code because it is a live code, or you can copy and put it in a browser. So I am going to.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'll just put in all these different sites that I mentioned. Student Aid, for all the information that you'll need will be at studentaid.gov/PSLF. And we'll be continuing to take more questions, but I want Virginia to get the survey taken care of. This was hopefully a valuable presentation on information that could put more money in your pocket, reduce your student loans, and they just want to make sure that you are getting value out of it. So please make sure that you fill out the survey. You can just open your smartphone and just scan that QR code, or you've got the URL. Virginia, are you able to put the URL in the link in the chat?
I tried to copy it and put it in the chat and I couldn't. So that's why I want to go ahead and pull up the slide.
Great. Okay, there you go. So there you are, everyone. Make sure that you do that. Again, we're going to continue taking questions. We have until noon. So we got at least 15 more minutes. And we want to try to take as many questions as we can. The presentation, you will get a copy of it. That has a lot of resources for you. It's got a lot of information. And as I mentioned before, I'm very happy with what studentaid.gov has done with their website as far as their frequently asked questions and all of the information to, help borrowers, especially people with this PSLF, trying to figure it out. They've got a lot of information there. So I'm going to.
Okay, let me know if you're able to click on the link.
On your.
Are you seeing the link?
I see the link, but it won't let you click or anything. You know what? I wonder if, hang on, let me try something.
Oh, I believe someone had a question. Somebody named VR in the chat. Not in the chat, but in the.
Okay, maybe now. I'm sorry.
Can I go ahead and ask?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Well, Virginia, have you covered everything you need to cover? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure Virginia's good to go.
I need to just get this other slide up. So let me see in show. Preview slide, show. Slide. Okay, so now that slide is up. So are you able to see it?
Yeah, we can see the slide and everything. So
okay,
again, if you can scan the QR code, and you can do that on your phone and it'll take you right there to the survey.
Yes, and when you go to the site, if you click on the date and the class, if you just click on that drop down button and go all the way to the bottom, it will give you the title of the class, Public Service Loan Forgiveness. Or if you want to actually write it in, you can just put the PSLF. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for doing that, Virginia. Getting feedback is really helpful to make sure that we are doing things that's going to be helpful to you. So VR, I'm sorry, but I'd love to answer your question. You can go ahead and unmute. I'm trying to see if there's anything.
Okay. I was wondering, like, I did like 10 years. I'm not sure if you answered this. I'm not sure, but I did like 10 years of employment with a agency, and that was like 99 to 2009. And I believe you mentioned something about a 2007 it started. So are those payments considered before that 2007 or no?
Okay, the only payments that count are the ones from October 2007 forward. So most of that time won't count, but you can start counting from October 2007, which sounds like that would be about 2 years roughly. So you can count that. And I would definitely scrape up every payment you can find. So even if it's just, 12, 15, 20 months, it adds up. So they will not go back prior to October 2007. No.
And also the years will not make a difference either to 2007 forward, also the years of employment.
Yeah, the number of time won't matter. Like even if you was with an employee, let's say for 3 months, but they were a qualified employer, you get your verification form done for that employer, and yes, it will count.
Or the years will count toward. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thank
the
you.
years will count. Or I say months only because sometimes people might not be with an employer for a full year. That's okay. If you got 2, 3, 4 payments, that's fine too. It doesn't have to be a full year.
Okay, so I understand from 2007 to 2009, those payments will count. But what about the years of employment from 1999? That will not count, the years.
That will not count. Anything prior to, you can try to put that on there, but they won't give you credit for those years prior to 2000, because that's when the program started. So October 2007, even though I think there was a different type of program or something like that. But yeah, October 2007, that's the cutoff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see if we got anybody else that's raising their hand. Well, I don't need to raise my hand. Let's see. Okay. Well, we can still look at questions. I don't see a hand. Virginia. Oh, somebody just raised their hand. Oh, hang on. I see now.
It looks like Phyllis Jones raised hand. And Lewis looked like popped up with my screen up. It's hard for me to see as well.
Yeah, I don't see anyone raising their hand quite yet, but if anybody wants to okay, I see one. Let me go ahead and allow to talk. Okay, Phyllis, are you able to unmute?
Yes, thank you so much for taking my question.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And I think you're doing a wonderful job with the explanations, and thank you so much for it because it enlightens so much. But my question is, because my previous employer, and I don't like to call anyone out on a negative aspect, however, my form was submitted, but it keeps getting rejected because the previous employer is not completing it correctly. What can I do?
Your jacket looked like she froze a minute, so give her a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Virginia. So I'm sorry, did you receive
You
the
may
question?
have to repeat your question.
Okay, so I was stating that I have.
So it looks like she dropped that all together.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, I am so sorry. My screen went blank. Phyllis, I didn't hear your question. And so if I happen to drop, my screen just froze and it just cut out, which is really weird.
Yeah. Okay. So my question, I
I'm
just
so
put it
sorry.
in.
Yeah, go ahead and hopefully I won't have any trouble this time. I apologize.
I have a previous state employer. I have recently submitted my form several times because the previous employer is completing it incorrectly and it's being rejected. So what can I do?
Okay, so you're, just to repeat the question, make sure I heard it. So you were sending the form to a previous employer, right? And they didn't fill it out correctly and they kicked it back?
Correct.
Okay, so did they specify what was wrong on the form so that you could fix it?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so your next step needs to be, so who is the loan servicer?
Aid Advantage.
Okay, so now with Aid Advantage, all they're doing is consolidating. So you're in the middle of getting your loans consolidated?
Correct.
Okay, so Aid Advantage does not process that PSLF form. They're not the servicer. They're just the intermediary where they process the consolidation, then they're going to kick it over to MOHELA. So Aid Advantage responded to you, and what did they say?
They said that the form was not completed correctly.
Yeah, so you really do need to wait until after consolidation. Okay. So you know who your loan servicer is, and what is probably going to be MOHELA. And then once you're done with that, that form in box 7, it gives you instructions on where to submit it. So probably it got rejected because you sent it to Aid Advantage. And if you go to box 7 on that form, it shows you who to send that to. So I would wait till the consolidation is done and then go ahead and submit it to MOHELA following those instructions.
Thank you so much.
And then I wish they would have given you more information to say, you know, sorry, we don't process those. Please hold off until, you know, you can still hold on to that form if you got it signed and everything. And then once you get confirmation that MOHELA has it, you know, you sign on with the ID and password. And I know that they have like an upload button where you can submit the form that way, or they have a fax and they, you know, there's different ways you can send it to them. So just hang tight until that consolidation is done and then get that over to MOHELA.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You got any other questions? Let's see here if anybody else has their hand raised. Okay, I think I see one. Okay, Phil. And Phyllis, let me know if you have any other questions. If you are done, you can go ahead and lower your hand. And if anyone else has any questions that they want to ask verbally, you can raise your hand. And Virginia, we can hit the Q&A a little bit more. We're getting close to the top of the hour, but whoever else we have. I'm just sort of going to the bottom here. Will I be qualified if I have 0 payments, but with the county 2018? Will I be qualified? I have 0 payments, but with the county for 2 months. Yeah, you got to make sure you're filling out that PSLF form. That's how you get your employment, your number of payments counted. And again, the $0 payments during COVID does count. So make sure you're using that form. Let's see. Errors on the PLS form. Yeah, so as far as that PSLF form, you got to get with that employer and you need to identify what pieces are incorrect and what's wrong and why is it getting kicked back and rejected. Then you solve it from there. Like when you call that former employer, you're going to say line 6 blah, blah, blah is not correct. I need this. So you got to be very specific with what they're doing wrong so that they don't think they're correcting the right thing and it's not. So all you got to do there is identify what's wrong and make sure you get with that prior employer and ask them to correct whatever. Most of the stuff, honestly, on the form is stuff that you fill out. Okay. Like there's only like 2 things that the employer fills out.
Okay, Jackie, there are 2 last questions. One from a man, and then looks like there is a raised hand from Rose Lewis and Phyllis Jones. So, well, maybe we just answer Phyllis. So Rose Lewis, so if we could take care of those, I think that would wrap it up.
All right, so did you have one that was written that you wanted to read to me, or you want me to get the one with the hand raised?
Yes, it says, I had to cover court as an emergency today and have been there since, okay, 9 a.m. So the questions are, will this cover me for grad school if I am still in school and want to graduate in March of 2023? Will my son, who is still an undergrad student, be able to complete this forgiveness and my Parent Plus?
Okay, so for the person that's still in school, you can take any loans that have been dispersed and try to get them consolidated with all of your other loans. This waiver ends on October 31st. So any disbursements after that, you're not going to be included because they haven't happened. So as far as I thought I heard like a Parent Plus loan and then an undergrad loan, whoever owns the loans, that's the person that can consolidate. So if you have a Parent Plus loan, dad, and your son has an undergrad loan in the son's name, you can't consolidate those because those are two different people. Now, if you as the dad has a Parent Plus loan and you have a regular loan, let's say from grad school, you can't consolidate those because those are all under your name. So you can only consolidate the loans that are under your name. Even if it's a Parent Plus loan, if you have another loan that you can put with it, that's even better. You can get a direct loan and continue your payments from there. And when you consolidate whatever loan you have, as the Parent Plus loan, the payments aren't going to come over. But with the other loan, the regular direct loan or any other loan other than Parent Plus loan, if you're able to put that with the Parent Plus loan, it's going to count the oldest payment that you made on that other loan. So that's how those will work. So I see some hand raised, but I'm not sure if they have a mic.
Okay, and the last hand raised is from Rose Lewis.
Okay, let me see. So I don't see her still raised, but I see Linda. Let me try her.
Oh, okay.
I don't see Rose's raised. Linda, are you able to speak? You can unmute.
This is Linda. Can you hear me?
Linda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, what caught my attention was the statement you made early on that 8 million borrowers will receive relief automatically.
Yes. Can
you say some more about that?
Actually, that is the most updated information that's on the studentaid.gov website. And basically that just means that those people have, they're probably on income-driven repayment plans where they have to certify their income every year anyway and provide a copy of their tax return information. So that's what they mean by that. They wouldn't have mine because I have not been on an income-driven repayment plan, and more than likely I'll have to apply. Is there anything in particular you're looking curious about?
Well, I'm just trying to kind of get the lay of the land, but the one thing that I think I learned this session is that I need to be on an income-based repayment plan.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going for forgiveness, you need to be on one of those 4 income-driven repayment plans. And I laid those 4 out, but also at the studentaid.gov website, it will go through and explain the difference. But if you go to the loan simulator and you sign on to studentaid.gov, it will take your loans, take you through a little wizard, answer a few questions, and give you the options that you have available to you for income-driven. And you can be able to compare them if you want to. They might serve up some other repayment options, but for PSLF, you want to go for the income driven.
Okay. And then once we select that, that kind of goes into our profile, who we are, and contributes to our being qualified for the loan waiver, right?
Yeah, it'll, well, the income driven is just a part of it. So the income driven is simply going to be, how you're repaying back and what's that and everything that's based on. The public service loan forgiveness, that's when you need to do the form, the PSLF form, to get your employment and your payment count verified.
Okay.
Okay.
I apologize for not being able to answer questions for the last 2 raised hands, but unfortunately this does end our time for today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jackie, so very much for this awesome presentation. It has been awesome. And I really appreciate everybody in attendance. Thank you and enjoy your day. Please make sure that you complete the evaluation form if you did not already, using either the scan for the QR code, typing in a new browser, the web link, or clicking on the link to complete it. And the course for today is Public Loan Service Forgiveness for September 13, 2022.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure working with you, and go get your student loans forgiven.
Okay. Very good.